controlling transmission.
Greetings, my friends. This is for Star Trek fans, but it's also for people that seek enlightenment, seek the extraordinary out of the box. Don't be threatened by this mere uniform. Did people turn away for how Jesus appeared? Did people turn away how Ali Muhammad appeared? Did people disappear the way Ramses II or Tutankhamun or Akhenaten appeared, or Isis or Nefertari appeared? This is about your Shastra Pramana, Astra Pramana, Omni Pramana, and Cosmo Pramana. This is not about the past lives, this is about your glorious galactic past. For your inner standing that is valuable to get the message. So don't feel threatened or ridiculed or thinking things are ridiculous for this mere avatar body representing another version of you. You are able to perceive me, so I'm real. This video plays as long as you don't push the button away. Or some might feel, oh, I'll have to not subscribe to that because this is, no, I can't. No, in my conservative, constricting, clinching and conflicting three-dimensional thought pattern, I cannot allow such a being, such as this one, to talk to me. So I'll urge you, stay with me. It's going to be a very interesting ride and things that we will share now. Every now and then I feel it is necessary, if not mandatory, to remind you what the original Vishnu, Shiva, Pharaoh, Magi, Jedi actually is, namely you. So for my Star Trek fans, so you get your money's worth, I am Captain Arcturus Ra, Commander, Starfleet, and Science Division. I'm Arcturian. I'm in human form. I come from the future past. For those who don't understand, the future's past present is, or what this could be like, or how this could be portrayed. Watch a movie, or watch the series Travelers, with downloads consciousness, overriding countless consciousness, reactivating people in the form of a walk-in. You can be born as such, activated later, or something happens, you're supposed to die, and your consciousness will be replaced with a consciousness that will be braided with your body. Now, for the Star Trek fans, you want to hear why Star Trek, why the uniform, why that outfit, why you, and who are you? Well, I explain that to you. I believe that many Star Trek fans don't look at Star Trek the way I do. Why that is, I'll explain to you. Does anyone realize that Star Trek is channeled? Does anyone realize that Gene Roddenberry was chosen in dream state by his extra-dimensional higher version to connect with where he's originally from? And what does this in outer space really look like? There's no coincidence in what is being described. Has anyone looked at the pattern why he talks in 1967, if I'm not mistaken, about Talons? In Talos and the planetary system Talos. And we have the same beings, a group of beings in the mountain of Mount Shasta. Interesting. He talks about Arcturians in his script. He has midway stations, which are way stations or workstations where many extraterrestrial races meet to work together. Well, these stations truly exist. Do you know that Bethlehem is not a star? It's actually a mothership or a way station where many of your kind work together. At night you don't go to sleep, you go up on a ship to protocol what you experience on Earth. The development in the eyes of your ancestral lineage and your planetary origin, as in your galactic past, thinks it's rather slow. But that's why every now and then we send people such as I that are out of the box, that know where they're from, with partially cosmic amnesia, fragmented memory, bringing back together why we're here and why We're here to awaken you and assist you in that process. It is physical, it will become more physical, and you will also understand that these people you call savants that channel scripts that are unheard of, or schizophrenics that have fragmented minds, channel interdimensional platforms and plates of what dimensions might look like, are not so crazy, and actually future consciousness translated or braided too soon into a body that was partially handicapped, and the brain wasn't fast enough to interface with actually what was being transmitted. You call them schizophrenic, crazy. I'm not talking about the violent ones. I'm talking about the ones that deliver these unbelievable cases that we still think this is random. The Big Bang Theory, evolutionary theory, all of these kindergarten concepts that science that really actually doesn't have a clue leans on to observe what took place, not having galactic memory. So being in Vishnu, Shiva form, Pharaoh form, Jedi form is tapping into that galactic memory. Also know Gene Roddenberry studied a channel named Phyllis V. Schlemmer. She wrote a book, The Only Planet of Choice, and she mentions him and honors him. These people sat down and took notes when channeled papers and storylines from the original ancient Orion cosmic conflict. When you look at the spiraling galaxy that is known to us, and interestingly, one of the arms is fragmented. That arm, if you look at the map, and we have the pictures, includes the Orion belt. Planetary systems blown up, planets blew up. You have storylines of Superman, which is actually an Elohistic story plot, as in Jor-El, you know, the house of El, the house of Elohim. Make no mistake, planet Kryptonite, or planet Krypton more, was actually Maldek. The council misused the natural resources of the planet, destabilized the core, and the planet exploded. And we kept repeating these patterns over and over. So Star Trek, look at the phenomenon that has collected more prizes than any TV show ever will. Lots of you don't know that. And to the fans, why do you think a show is being created, the most expensive TV set in the 60s, and it explodes? They're trying to cut the show and they bring it back because of the overwhelming fan mail, because something in your soul got sparked. For those that remember, of course, those opposers also remember cosmic, and they don't want this. Those are the souls that don't want to go back to the memories. They've been traumatized by war. What this happens with war is this: your brain gets traumatized, and then your brain begins to compartmentalize. The human race has an old Anunnaki and Draconian design that actually is designed to create a void and deny system in you. So meaning you have a war, you begin to compartmentalize. Meaning that even within your own governmental structure, you don't know what's the left hand doing, what is the right hand doing, what's my foot doing, what's the pinky doing, what's the earlobe doing. Basically, you're not really ultimately connected, you're very fragmented. Well, a lot of controls seeped in, a lot of lower dimensional aspects, parasites, not to mention a few beings or animals or parasites that were not even supposed to be on this plane of existence. And flat earthers and spherical beings work together. It's like vegan and meat eaters. It is a perspective of what you give meaning to and what is in resonance. Earth is flat. Yes. Earth is round. Yes. Earth is a waveform. Yes. Earth is a particle. Yes. Both things are valid. That's why physics will find out a few things will not make sense on Earth anymore, because these are just concepts and theoretical constructs that we leaned on. Let me give you an example. And flat earthers like to hear this, but I say spherical and flat earthers, please join hands in this. Just giving you a little example. The earth is round. There's a natural curvature in the perception of when you leave the plane. This is what the plane does. You look at computer games, this is what computer games do. So let's imagine this is an organic simulation, an OS, an operating system that is organic. AI is when things don't really make sense so much. So when you go to different time zones and your compass goes spinning, guess what? You're being reset in order to not go crazy because things don't really add up the way they're supposed to. Same way as in, that's just a side example, a plane taking off, flying linear and keeping the same height. If you're flying on a plane that has a curvature according to a formula, there should be drops and you'd have to correct your computer, and that's interesting for those who fly Boeings. You'd have to correct your flight path to drop the sequence according to the curvature. So you stay with the Earth's mantle in the same distance. But computers don't do that. Planes have the height, there's no correction going on, as in this and this, from starting to landing. But let's say it's a 6-hour flight, you're going from here to overseas, the plane doesn't drop all the time. It's not being done. So if that's not being done, that means it's a straight line, but it's also a waveform they're flying. So it's not really a curvature that they're flying. So is Earth flat now? Is it a plane? Is it spherical? The true fact is we have no idea. We have no proof. But it's not what you think it is. Just a tip. It's not what you believe it is. Call it this way. Planet, plan, ET. The unusual thing about this planet is the diversity of the races that are here. So many of your souls that already know you are here to correct the timelines in the future. That is your job. For those who know the protocol, you'll wake up to this and you'll understand. Or as you would say, understand, or in better terms, resonate. No one controls your action. No one tells you what to do or where to be, or no guru can lead you where you already are. From birth, and you can take that from Tibetan texts, Hindu texts, the ancient Vedic texts that come from texts that are even older than them, and texts that are still sealed, but the consciousness needs time to find them, that explain you are perfect. Man is perfect in its design. Evolutionary theory, as it has been taught in school, it's a little Muppet show. It's not really how that works. Divine beings on a dimensional level that the human race cannot fathom yet have designed the avatar construct of that, what you see here in front of you. It's a phenomenal, biological, technological mega achievement. And how this operates is even more mind-blowing. So never forget, in whatever you try to accomplish, AI, buildings, cities, miraculous machinery or technology that you'll build, the ultimate high-end technology is and always will be, beginning and end, alpha and omega, you. Now, when people say, I'm wasting my time, be very cautious in how you spend your time with how you spend your life, because you can only waste life. You're wasting your life. If you subscribe to something that doesn't uplift you, move you forward, helps you indeed to uplift others and make others shine, you're wasting life. And once this is terminated, it is permanent. You won't be returning with the same personality. You'll have to understand the processes of that is what is to become enlightened. You're born enlightened because you have photons within the cells that are communicating from the day you're born, but it takes time to realize that you are, if you're not raised that way. You're that enlightened, that you're that open, that when you're raised, you're told you're not. So you believe it. Magic goes dormant, telekinesis goes dormant. We want quantifiable evidence, things that take place that are going to be on repeat for us to understand. That is the level of where the human race is. We are that slow. So in the future, we will have demonstrations of beings coming in being able to perform acts that will blow your mind, but only blow your mind because you're not trained with the openness. It'll be natural in the future to access knowledge, to get clear, to come clear and see really where you're going. So Star Trek is channeled. Star Wars is channeled. These scripts that are written now are channeled. Put it this way. Let's say there are a few ships out there, and you can imagine the level of technology that they're in. Besides the fact of all the doom and gloom and not really uplifting projects that they're trying to mention to you, and I don't know, Project Blue Beam and Majestic 12 and Roswell, and all the dwelling of the theoretical construct will not really necessarily teach you enlightenment. It'll give you an idea of what's out there and certain possibilities. But make no mistake, what is not manifest in front of you shall not exist. What never will exist will never exist. What can't be avoided will most certainly be. So, open your mind and allow yourself to travel. Now, also for the Star Trek fans and for the other general public that is in that state of understanding, understanding, overstanding, outerstanding, standing, I say moving. Jedi, Magi, Merlin, magic, technology, science, same thing. Open your mind and let it in. Also, when you see that, what is in front of you, ask yourself, do you feel resonance? In the future, it is about resonance. In the future, it is about restructuring yourself to prepare yourself to even receive that. Then you'll have data dumps or data reception protocols that will come in. The best way to meditate on that is to let everything go that you believe. Everything that you have seen, let it just simply go. Every habit that you think is not really a habit is only the mind makes it a habit. The mind thinks that's a habit. The mind, as in the egoic construct and overlay, that filter mechanics that you have to protect yourself to create the persona, as in the persona, the personal profile that makes you, is the illusion of the avatar that you have created, and it exists, and at the same time it doesn't. If somebody doesn't know you, you can redefine your character at any time. You can change, morph, switch characters. In the higher dimensions, it'll be visible. In the lower dimension, it takes time to be visible. You will see in these days and age, or ages, wannabe sages, 5D fakers, Birkenstock wannabes, claiming a lot of theoretical nonsense of what they can do and what they are capable of. Make no mistake, you have to look at the physical fact now. This is about science and not about magic. There's no such thing as magic. Magic means laws of life. If you're an alchemist, the alchemical aspect, meaning knowing that the technology and the chemical wisdom comes from Egypt, Shem. Shem, and Shem also means those with access to the ships, those with access to other worlds. That is our galactic heritage. And it is time to reactivate that and bring it back. You will see this year going towards, let's say 18 to 2020, things will be developed from applications to medicine that will be found, natural medicine that will be mind-blowing. Shouldn't be. Get out of the amazement and the awe, realize and find an application. Also, you should look at what works, meaning physical proof. If somebody has any illness or any disease running with them and your numbers change because you're following the alternative route, you should look at the proof. Why that is, how that is. Do not go, as they say, for the okie doke. People say a lot of things and things don't happen. The mechanic knows how to fix your car, but there's the theoretical wizard and there's the practical wizard. Look at those who actually apply the practical sense of what is and help you to apply that in your life so you independently can walk away, and you don't even have to sit in an ashram with us and wait until somebody touches you and enlightenment reaches you. You design how enlightenment will reach you. You create how enlightenment will uplift you, and you will uplift others, and you will make others shine. And everybody out there shouldn't be an opponent. We are, in a way, enriching each other. We transmit this to you so you resonate with, be kind to one another, listen to one another, find modalities and application in your technology to go interstellar once again, because everything is on Earth. Make no mistake, you're trying to find this exotic element that's out there, give it a number X, Y, Z on planet such and such, and far distance. This is not the way how you will reach that. That's why my ship, the Star Trek Odyssey, I named her, it's a she, runs on, and here's the kicker, it began with dilithium crystals for the warp core. The upgrade is a mycelium network for the warp core. Jump at the speed of consciousness. Now my third upgrade, even a suggestion for the show, I run on a psilocybin network for the core. Travel at the speed of the ultimate is experience. So you can jump coordinates in no time. That has been shown to the science that has studied what you call dimethyltryptamine, that the speed of consciousness cannot be beat by any machine. And that is actually where you begin. Now imagine in the movie Passengers, you are passengers on a way station, like in that movie Passengers, and your original ET body, whether it be elven or elemental or blue or green, many of you have a feeling of what that looks like. Some of you say, I'm blue. Others say, I'm green. Another one says, well, I have a feeling I'm coming from an orange race. We heard, and we also suggest watch Mary Rodwell, 3-year-olds talking quantum physics now without having learned that at home or in school. Saying, I learned more on the ships than I learned at school. Documented on television. 7-year-olds talking about ninth layers of ninth dimensional aspects and sixth dimensional aspects, and how they use their mind to astrally project their consciousness to beings that they are talked with, and they're coming back with full memory. This is physical evidence, and you'll see a lot of theoretical experiencers up on stage talking about stuff that nobody has an application for. But then there will be the practical ones that can touch you, and you are in their presence, and even feel the resonance of me, seeing that we put you in a different space of perception. Now, let us go deeper into the construct of where people still struggle to understand that extraterrestrial intelligence is your ancestral lineage, is your galactic heritage, it is also your galactic past. The masters of ancient times in the Vedic text that had the original skill to modulate this hologram at will were masters because they still remembered who they were. And over time, things got downgraded and they forgot who they were. So let me share a quick dream before I go into the explanation of where the struggle is of the programmed mind to open up to more cosmic possibilities and let that in of what actually is taking place. This is for your enlightenment, and this is a, you can say, intergalactic memory class, and it's for free. So we did this for you. We put ourselves in garments because we respect the aspect of consciousness that asks and seeks to be elevated. Hence, hear this. I had a dream. We call it dream. A 7-year-old told me once, but you're not really dreaming. You're going into archives, you're studying, you're learning, you're in a different space. You call it dream, so your egoic overlay filter mind. My world needs to function 3D. I'm afraid to explore and expand into higher forms of existence, so I need this word dream. Okay, so for those who need that word dream, in a dream. I was in a time, it must have been Egypt. We were building pyramids. Rocks were levitating. Rocks that looked like they weigh 1,000 tons. No machine on this earth can lift them. And we would have a priest that would direct the flow, the flow of cosmic energy directed through the high priest that had the embodied knowledge of being a true magi or Jedi. That was the original pharaoh. Not to have slaves, followers in resonance with what he was doing, no hard labor. That is an illusion put on the templates of the fallen version of the Pharaoh. Mission is to remember the original version of Pharaoh was, and forever will be. If you can make it rain, you can make it rain in 1 minute. No rain dance required. You have to prove yourself in front of the priesthood or folks that you would serve to navigate through space and time, that you are that. So you demonstrated your craft. In the Vedic text they call it siddhis, which was a normal craft, not a paranormal craft. That comes from ancient scriptures, documented. If you go deep into even the apocryphic texts of the Bible, you find amazing stories that are not fairy tales, that are not visions. These are documentations of chosen prophets to witness what took place, so we may not forget the flame in the mind, which is the flame that does not consume, which is the avatar flame, which is the original flame, which is the blue flame, which is you are, new and clear. Fusion within you without having to split or divide anything as you unify the field. So that's also part of the dream. So I was part of the high priests. Of course, everybody wants to be one. I'm not giving you a story that's made up. Read my mind, read my body language. Do I flinch? Do I try to create something? I really was there. And I woke up with that memory. So I'm there. And we had this big rock that had to be moved to another platform to build another construct. That rock would kind of like tether out, so I had people assisting me to hold it with a rope in midair, levitating but hold it. So it would swing around, let's say maybe 60 yards this way. And somehow we lost control mentally and the people with the rope. And where I was, the rock kind of came to me because it kind of like my energy field must have attracted that, or I must have been in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So I saw the rock flying towards me. I'm like, this is it, this is the end of me. And I jump into this ditch where just my body fits, and this big chunk flies like, and then drops on me. I climb out, I walk over to the people that you can say the disciples that helped me, and I said something went wrong here. I don't know what it was with the energies, whatever. We kind of lost control and we couldn't levitate it and direct the flow of energy as we wanted it, and I was very upset about it, and I had to heal and meditate it out to clear my mind and see mentally and mental focal capacity where I was with these powers. And then I woke up and I told my soulmate, this is the dream that I had. So I believe that the pyramids were built partially by extra-dimensional intelligence, time travelers, and people like us in higher forms, in higher versions that came to this planet. Also to clarify to those who think they're Isis, Osiris, or whatever names you are part of that collective. If a being is 30 foot tall, it can be an embodiment of 1,000 human souls that make that one avatar. So no one on this earth is that being. When I say I'm Arcturus Ra, you all know my original name. That means I'm representing Ra as the light, as in the social memory complex of the law of one. Part of that conglomerate through the light of Arcturus, because I believe most of my gene code, typo negative, relates to the Arcturian star system, the Arcturoidal development system, as in helping to restore planetary consciousness and fixing the timeline by showing with the inventions that I bring forth. Bigger ones will be coming. This is all in development. Step by step, it'll get bigger, it'll get greater, it'll have more influence on reality for you to see and witness, whether you're a doctor, a non-believer, and a neuro-linguistic programmer, or just a normal person. It won't go away what is. Like if you have a pebble of a crystal that has a positive frequency and you plant it and your plant grows 3 times the size, that is a part of reality that won't go away. That's why I do not represent magic and the mysterious, unexplicable force. This is ancient science. We did it in Atlantis, we did it in Lemuria, we did it on other planets to bring crystalline stored energy with high negatively ionized formation back on the map to show the planet that the original and corrected light information is able to fix and restructure the planet and bring the harmony naturally back. Now, to further explanations for people that think that things are still questionable. Be skeptical, question everything, don't believe nothing, do your own investigation. But here's my take. Scholars, European scholars and professors and the likes called a race or a tribe or a nation in Africa, in the area of Mali, the Dogon, a primitive tribe. Now here's the idea. They have a ritual that they celebrate with planet X and planet Y, Sirius A and Sirius B. There's also Sirius C, but here's the significant storyline to that. So every 60 years, you see the X, Y, X, 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 Y doing a formation. And they looked at a couple of hundred years, if not, correct me if I'm wrong, you'd have to read that book, The Dogon Tribe, The Sirius Mystery. It's very well documented, a photo of a cave painting that shows the human genome, that shows exactly how we are built. That cave painting is thousands of years old, and the so-called primitive race was asked, which I find preposterous, well, how do your high priests, your old shamans, how do they acquire that knowledge? Well, our ancestors came from the stars, very clear. And that our god, Uranus, came from the sea. Some think they must have been amphibious. And he said that him and others that came with him from that what came from the sky, they came in a golden nutshell of the blue wings of the sky and landed and talked to us. So communication took place. I don't believe this is mythical. I think it is a documentation and it shall be respected as such. Everything else to me is idiocracy or pyramidiology, meaning you're not really getting into what's actually being transmitted here. And I have to be frank because we have no more patience for what hinders you to get water from the well, to get well. Also, the shamanic priests of the Dogon nation explained there's a Sirius C. And they explained to the scientists that you cannot see this with the human eye. Now, you know what a white dwarf is, for those who know. You know what a brown dwarf is. I explained that to you before I explained to you what this high priest, and I find this phenomenal, explains to the scientist why he can't find Sirius C. And that was before NASA even could detect Sirius C. That's phenomenal, and this is for the skeptics out there, that you have to know there was an external intelligence that influenced beings on this planet with knowledge that they had that you couldn't have developed here. It's impossible. So, a planet can collapse. Let's say the sun can collapse to the size of a ping pong ball and still have the same mass, just a different density. It'll be so powerful it'll almost look like a black hole. It'll attract everything around it, and you'll see it in its gravitational pull. That's how now NASA detects planets that are invisible to the human eye. A planet of this size that has collapsed to this size, still having the same density. So they asked the high priest, it's almost humorous, describe Sirius C. And in a poem, he describes Sirius C is as small as a grain of sand, or better yet, as tiny as a rice seed. But it is as heavy as 10 sacks filled with rice. So the density of 10 sacks of rice filled in this tiny rice seed is the same thing as a planet that had this size that collapsed to this size with the same density. So how do you have that cosmic knowledge? Well, those who came from the system Sirius, show me your map, and the guy wasn't even, he couldn't read or write, but he showed him the star map. And he points to the Sirius star system, knowing exactly where that comes from, and more intricate knowledge that's to be shared. So, let's go to Zachariah Sitchin, who scratched only the surface. So some people wanted to attack that guy. The story goes much further. Anunnaki, false gods, Anton Parks, The Secret of Dark Stars, or Eden. Go deeper into the Sumerian tablets and clay tablets, partially in the National Museum of Ankara in Turkey, translated, describing our 9 planets, the positions, the elliptic trajectory of the planets, and how the Anunnaki, the Elohim Anunnakis, came 500,000 years to land on this planet. And that's only part of the story. It goes even deeper than you can imagine. I'm just giving you the commercial aspect. Oh, the Anunnakis, or the Anunnakis. Anunnaki. Okay? Kind of dragon and heavenly race mixed. We're kind of their offspring. So make no mistake, you are very powerful beings. All the ascended masters that came before, all the wars that were fought, the top of the line angels, if you don't know, were the Ophanim. Then came Seraphim, then came Cherubim, and then came Nephilim. These are all races after. And then the Elohai, and Eloquai, and Ehani, Esasani, Elomuhai, Makai, Georgin, Amunujaku. The names, if you know scriptures that have been burned in the Library of Alexandria, you'd have to channel now. Or Janis Cohen, it goes way, way, way back. And make no mistake, the splitting of the atom did not just out of, I have the formula EMC square. Einstein studied Madame Blavatsky, and Madame Blavatsky studied the Vedic texts. And the Vedic texts, thousands of years old, talked about atoms, the power of suns, electrons. They could be divided, energy could be released. That was already mentioned. That idea Einstein and many others took in theory and made it real. That shows you our ancestors were way ahead of the curve. Now, to give you a little bit of an Atlantean template to round this up and connect it, the story can go in many, many ways and branch off till infinity, but let's not get caught up. Atlantis was a brotherhood that split, where one part, that's where the fallen angel aspect comes in. One part of the space crew decided, we want to do artificial intelligence. We want to create an artificial Merkaba, open artificial black holes, design our own genetics engineering. If you hear these stories about centaurs, snakes with 2 heads, chimeras, mixed hybridization. They played with genetic grafting. They were not the original genetic masters that knew the genetic construct of how the DNA is actually built in RNA, and how the connection and the knowledge and the download capacity of these super programming, super interdimensional, hyperdimensional antenna systems, probes for these organisms were designed. They just were grafting, as in, let's say you have an apple tree and you got a cherry tree, but you don't really don't know how the gene code created the apple or the cherry. So you mix the cherry and the apple and you create a chapel. This is a deep joke on the side for you to think. And then you eat the chapel, you buy that, it's durable, you mix it, but you're not a genetic master. You just genetically grafted together what you thought could work. You could say a fertility pill could be an official allowance for cloning. This pill is designed actually to clone. They say officially on your planet that it's designed to help you to be fertile. But how is it that women can give birth to octuplets after taking that pill and they all look alike? This is official cloning. Just so you know, make no mistake, don't sleep. It is all in your face, just label different for you to go, I don't really know what's going on, but maybe I guess that worked for her. Cloning took place in the future. That's where the Greys come from. And part of your ancestors start dying out. That's why they're back here. In human form, such as I. using modalities that are familiar to you to remind you, wake up to the fact of who you are and remember who you are. Dream intense dreams, go deep in the dream state to really, really see that is who you are, that's what you're made of. Time to turn the memory on. And you have all the technology on this planet to build stargates, to cloak the time travel. Everything is here. It is only fragmented because your spirit got fragmented from the fall. You have now companies trying to drill to the core of the planet to measure the depth and the length of this planet and the heat and where the heat begins. So you will find objects that will defy anything and everything that you have learned. So we suggest from the High Council of Arcturus, in uniform as commander and science division and ground crew, to those who feel you are in resonance with us, be ready, support us, be with us, witness great things and miracle and wellness will take place, and it will be physical and it will be felt. And listen to the children that have these extraordinary stories of where they're from, why they're here, and what the mission is, and respect that and enhance that and bring that forth, because that is your mission. That is your responsibility. That is why you put on this planet. It doesn't matter what you think of me, of how I dress and what I look and what I say. If one wakes up, the others will get it. That's the theory, and that's how we will end this chapter of The 100th Monkey, a book by Rupert Sheldrake. Meaning, if one gets it, you all psychically will get it. So here's the story of the 100th Monkey. There was an island group near China, and monkeys would live on several islands. And the science crew, and hopefully I'm getting this together correctly, dropped peeled potatoes on the beach on one of the islands. The potatoes were naturally sandy and it's kind of like tough to eat, you know. The monkeys, you know, of course they're not cooking, they're not domesticated, they're not us. So the first monkey goes and explores, you know, kind of licks and spews the sand out, you know, and licks the potato and eats it a little half-assed and then throws it away. The others do the same. Ongoing process, nothing happens. And this is where channeling comes in, where insights come in, or enlightenment comes in. That's how you find levitation, teleportation, manifestation, abundance. Abundance also as in what should I have in life, what do I want, and what do I need? And how do I share this energy with others once I'm in this flow? Otherwise, no access. Now, one monkey one day has the miraculous idea to take this sandy potato and go to the beach and dip it in the water. Now use your mind, what happens? The sand falls off, and he realizes when he washes it that he does a little bit like this. It gets clear and he can eat it, and it's enjoyable, it's pleasurable, and he's going further, and the others look at him and they don't trust him. What's he doing? See, this is how this galactic knowledge comes in. We are looked at like, you're a freak. What the heck are you doing there? Look at what is all of this? Look at this. It's fun. Enjoy it, take it with a grain of salt, okay? It doesn't change your everyday life or you paying tax. Be kind, be peaceful, follow the rules, manifest, be abundant, and see. And you have nothing to worry about. Well, the Bible says it, if your Bible true, that if you believe in God, as in believing what is, nothing else between this and that, you'll be taken care of forever, for eternity. It is promised by God, by Jesus, Ali Muhammad, Veraskocha, Buddha, all the great ones that came before. Follow the rules. Know the rules, feel the rules, and you will do the right and just thing. Now, the monkeys, after observation, seeing that guy is really enjoying himself, and it's, you know, he's eating more than we can, and he's more relaxed, and he apparently has energy and food, and it's all working for him. So they start dipping the potatoes, the sandy ones, in the water, and they look at him and they mimic the guy, dude. And potatoes until the entire clan on that one island washes the potatoes and eats them. Enlightenment, everybody got it. Now comes the second miracle. The other monkeys on the other islands that have no visual contact, and that is talking about scalar waves, informational waves in the field. Gravitational waves, were laughed at, and last year we found them. So don't laugh at things that are actually in the field. And the Vedic texts already talk about that. So I'm not giving anything new to you. The other monkeys that have no visual contact. Now listen. Start washing the potatoes and eating clean and clear potatoes. And then the other clans pick up. On all other islands, having no visual contact. And they realized after 100 monkeys, the effect in the morphogenetic field is accelerated and people get it. So if one person levitates, 2 will levitate, 4 will levitate, 8, 16. You do the number. You can Fibonacci that up if you'd like to. If 100 people levitate in town, make no mistake, all around the world, people will begin to levitate. And then the Shastra Pramana, Astra Pramana, Omni Pramana, and Cosmo Pramana will be as you have designed it before you came here. And then everything all around the world will ultimately make sense to you. Does it not? I am an old soul. I've been here many, many times, and I did this many, many lifetimes before. And yeah, many of you also wear that, and you use spectacular technology to impress, to show people that this is the way. But now it's about, can you feel it? Can you sense it? Can you in your golden self really see that it is so? Then that is your path. You should follow that. Be with that, because you are enlightened. You are unique. You are on a very special planet. It's a plane. It's not. It's a sphere. It's not. When you close your eyes, it's nothing. Everything you give meaning to will be, and everything you give no meaning to will not be. So any theory can or cannot be. So don't form any absolutes in the future, and you will be much better. You'll be ripe, and right as rain, and crystal clear. This is Commander Arcturus Ra, signing off from the bridge of the Star Trek Odyssey with the psilocybin network. And I'll see you most certainly, as usual, on the flip side. Live long and prosper.